Hello, and welcome to the Great Pop Culture Video Debate. This time we're doing a special on the best Halloween song. I'm Eric Resniak. I'm your host, and I'm here today with Derek Makita. Hello, Derek.
Hello.
And Jim Zadzik, who's very much in the Halloween spirit, and I love and appreciate all the work you've done. But we're here to talk about Halloween songs, and I mentioned this to a friend. They were just like, are there that many Halloween songs? And I don't know about you guys, but I actually think there's a ton. So much so that when we came up with our personal picks and tried to limit it down to 8 for the debate, it was very challenging. And so we had a bunch that we were sad didn't make the bracket. Derek, I would love for you to talk about your picks first.
Yeah. So my first pick is This Is Halloween from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I suspect if we had, shall we say, later millennials on the panel, this one might have made it. But The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween classic, and This Is Halloween just kind of perfectly sets the tone for the season. So I'm kind of bummed it didn't make it.
Totally.
The other one is kind of like an odd pick. It's Black Magic Woman by Santana. It's not explicitly a Halloween song, right? But it's got that like soulful seduction factor, which is kind of, in my opinion, a worthy inclusion here. So it gives us a bit of a different kind of rock flavor than some of the other rock songs that did make the bracket. So we'll talk about that later. My third pick, the Addams Family theme. I can't believe this didn't warrant inclusion. It is absolutely included on any good Halloween playlist, but maybe it loses points because it's not really a pop song that you'd hear on the radio so much as it is a theme song. So this is a nostalgia pick for me, and should have been in the brackets over some of these others, in my opinion. Final honorable mention pick is the song Disease by Lady Gaga. Maybe it's recency bias on my part, but this is a banger from Lady Gaga, and arrived just in time for the spooky season last year, and it struck just the right tone to make it an instant gay Halloween classic in perpetuity, which is saying a lot since the gays love Halloween so seriously.
And many of the ones I know are diseased. So it's very resonant with our culture. But I will say that actually Lady Gaga blessed us with another Halloween bang up for this year with The Dead Dance, which came from the lackluster season 2 of Wednesday on Netflix. That I think actually was the best thing to come out of it, was that song. It's really great. And if you haven't listened to it, speaking of playlists, we do have a playlist for all of our selections and a couple additional ones. And I did put that Dead Dance on there. So thank you very much, Derek. Jim, you had a few picks for songs that you were bummed didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the ones that didn't end up on the list, but I like them a lot, are the ones that set a mood if you're making a playlist. And I guess we're not saying best songs for a playlist, but like Bela Lugosi's Dead by Bauhaus is a great, it's, like 8 minutes long, and it's just all this echoey, dark wave sound, gothic rock. There's songs like Ghost Town by the Specials and Straight to Hell by the Clash that kind of have a reggae post-punk kind of sound. And then I was going to say Burn by The Cure from the Crow soundtrack, but for me, it's the whole Crow soundtrack. And you could probably throw in the X-Files soundtrack. There's a lot of songs on that as well. Definitely from our younger years, that those are ones that have a lot of great songs on them that set a certain mood. They're not necessarily Halloween, but they fit perfectly on a Halloween mix if you're having it play all day.
Yeah, and I think the vibe and the tone, you'll see when we get to the bracket that we do have a lot of songs that are not explicitly Halloween, but are kind of like de facto Halloween hits. And I agree, another one that you just mentioned that came to my hand, like in the 90s, Red Right Hand was on like every horror film soundtrack. It was on X-Files, it was on Scream, I think it was on other ones. And then the Smiths' How Soon Is Now was the theme song to, I think, several different shows about witches. I'm not even joking. So, yeah. Like they're not explicitly Halloween songs, but they're kind of they're like implicitly Halloween songs. I have a couple picks that are actually explicitly, I think, Halloween songs, but they're maybe a little bit more deep cut for folks. Number one is Something in My House by Dead or Alive, which, this 80s new wave band from You Spin Me Right Round. That was kind of their only big hit. But Something in My House is it literally does speak on Halloween. It's kind of a metaphor about an ex-lover who's left someone and they're haunted by them, but also kind of actually about being in a haunted house. It's so good, but you had to find the right mix because there are some really bad mixes out there. But the playlist that will be in this show notes will have a really great mix, and it's a awesome 80s new wave banger. Number 2 is from the 90s, a little band that Jim and I both loved called Moxie Fruvis has a song called Splatter Splatter that is a really fun, upbeat pop ditty about slasher movies and about teens getting their heads bashed in. And it sounds awful, but it's actually so catchy and really charming and very fun, and I recommend it. And then finally is a recent song that I was hooked to by one of our panelists, Brendan Hay, called Scare Me by Ludo. It's like a 2020s like pop punk band, and it's super energetic and really fun, and like the chorus and the bridge are so catchy, and it's again explicitly about Halloween and being scared. So with all that said, check out the playlist that we have embedded in the show notes of this episode. We're going to jump right into this here bracket, and first up, I think we have a unanimous decision. It's the Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett from 1962 versus the Time Warp from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I believe we are unanimous for Monster Mash here. Am I correct, everybody?
We are.
Yes.
We are. It's unfortunate because, like, you know, the Time Warp, it's funny because it's like a cult favorite from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and it absolutely deserves to be here. But thematically, like, if you actually listen to, like, close your eyes, listen to the song, it doesn't scream Halloween to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe
Yep.
that's why it's not a strong contender up against Monster Mash, which, again, is a monster in its own right, you know?
Yeah,
And if you
Jim,
haven't seen Rocky Horror, same kind of idea, right? Like we have all
Exactly.
seen it, we love it, and we connect with it. But also, if you haven't seen it, you're like, what is this song and why?
You need the visuals.
Why is that on
yeah,
this Halloween
exactly.
playlist?
Yeah.
I question, has Gen Z and later watched Rocky Horror? Because I saw that when I was in my teens, and it's a very weird movie, very special, it is
old.
Halloween, even though it is not explicitly Halloween again, but there's everything about the DNA of that whole project is creepy and weird and queer and Halloween. And it's such a great party song. I think you will find almost every song on this top 8 are party songs, and I
For
think
sure.
that's why they made it. But yeah, we will be moving the Monster Mash into round 2. Next up, it's going to be Dead Man's Party by Oingo Boingo versus Psycho Killer by Talking Heads, and I think we were split on that one. Derek, do you want to talk to me? Oh, actually, no. You said I don't care about Dead Man's Party, Eric. So
I don't
want
care
you to
about
talk
either of
it.
these. I was like, these are not in my wheelhouse at all. You guys take it away.
Well, Jim, talk to me about Psycho Killer. Qu'est-ce que
All
c'est?
Well, I'll be honest. I overstudied for this one because this summer I read three books about the Talking Heads.
Amazing.
And listened to a couple podcasts about it. So I went way deep, too deep. One thing to say about Psycho Killer is it's the origin of the band to some extent. So you had Chris Franz and David Byrne in the Artistics band that was like their Rhode Island School of Design band, and then Chris Franz was dating Tina Weymouth, who played and eventually plays bass for the band. And because she knew French, David Byrne asked her to do the French part of the song, and so it's their first kind of collaboration together. All that has nothing to do with Halloween, but it is about a psycho killer. It is from the perspective of the psycho killer, which I think makes it very interesting. Post-punk sound of the angular guitars really adds a lot to the kind of the meaning behind, the feeling of it. So it's always I'm a huge fan of the band, so it's always on my playlist. But I think over Dead Man's Party, I think it gets a little bit above in my opinion.
So as I was re-listening to these songs for this project, I was like, how specifically Halloween are these songs? And Dead Man's Party is about a quote unquote a Dead Man's Party, but it's not really explicitly Halloween-y. It's a great party song, and I think that's like the whole reason for the song to exist. It is by Danny Elfman, who gave us the music from Nightmare Before Christmas. Again, that's part of his DNA. But I actually think that Psycho Killer is the better option here, and in part because that song weirdly is very much of our time. This is such a random thought, but I was at the Jersey Shore this past summer. We're talking the middle of August, and someone was absolutely blaring Psycho Killer out of a car in like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's so random, but I feel like it's so like of a time right now. It is like a look into someone's disturbing mind, right? And I think it works. Also, fun fact about this story, it came out the exact same time as the Son of Sam murders, and people thought it was was about that, and they're like,
Right.
no, it was not
They've been
directly.
performing it for years,
Yeah.
but it actually came out then. Yeah.
Then, yeah, it's generically about serial killers, and that's very Halloween. So I'm fine to give it my edge here. Derek, you fine moving?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Let's
We're
do
gonna
it.
move Psycho Killer
Let's do it.
into round 2. Next up, we have Thriller by Michael Jackson versus Someone's Watching Me by Rockwell, which is hilarious because Michael Jackson is actually featured vocalist on both of these songs. And we are unanimous on Thriller as well. Does someone want to talk about Somebody's Watching Me, though?
I mean, it's a great bop from MJ. It's even got like the spooky organ vibes going for it. It's just so overshadowed by Thriller because it's Thriller for reasons we'll talk about later. It's a Halloween juggernaut. So I think it like tonally it goes head to head pretty well, but I think Thriller just has so many other pop culture like brownie points going for it that's the reason why it kind of goes over here.
Yeah, I will not disagree with that. I just think it's funny that Michael Jackson is on both of those songs.
That's very
And-
weird.
It is. And then finally, I believe we are split right now on the final round one. It's Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. and I Put a Spell on You by Screamin' Jay Hawkins. And I'm curious for Jim to talk to us about I Put a Spell on You.
All right. Well, I mean, Ghostbusters, the film, is like probably one of my top 5 favorite films, but Ghostbusters, the song, maybe not so much. So I again, mood for a playlist, the style of a playlist. So Screaming Jay Hawkins can fit on a playlist really well for a Halloween kind of sound. There's someone screaming kind of frantically in the songs. Also, the song Frenzy is on usually my playlists too, because it's just a lot of energy. It's interesting, the story behind it. It was originally planned to be like a love ballad, and the recording session got a little too imbibed, too much alcohol mixed in, and they ended up doing the version you hear, the much wilder, screaming, snarling, off the wall kind of version. He's quoted as saying, "I found I could do more destroying a song and screaming it to death." That's how he got his fame, I suppose. And then he went on, to have like performances with caskets and like Skull and Bones and all those others and all smoke and everything in his performances. I direct you to the end of the song where you hear the grunts and moans at the end. I think it's really funny, and it also is what led the song to be banned from some radio stations because it sounded cannibalistic, is what the word they used. But it's been covered a bunch of other times, but I really love this version specifically because he's just off the wall and howling at everything.
Michael Jackson was off the wall. But no, I'm just kidding. Derek, talk to us about Ghostbusters.
So Ghostbusters is 100% a Halloween banger, even divorced from the film itself. I mean, I think it's one of those pop culture moments where the combination of the film and a really iconic song came together to create, more of a pop culture pastiche of like goodness. Honestly, I could go either way here. I think Ghostbusters has more pop culture cachet, but I will say I Put a Spell on You has been probably covered more and has been featured in a lot more films and TV properties. So I think I Put a Spell on You might get the edge for me here.
My argument there is it's been covered so many times that I don't think there's a definitive version of the song.
Mhm.
I agree with what Jim's saying about the Screamin' Jay Hawkins is so evocative and it makes it sound more Halloweenish. But like, there's only one Ghostbusters. They used it for virtually every single iteration of the movie, and it is a canonically ghost song. There's something strange in your neighborhood who you're going to call. There's something and it don't look good. I don't remember the rest of it. But like, it is about being haunted. It is about ghosts. And Screamin' Jay Hawkins, it was supposed to be a love song, right? So I don't know. For me, it's still Ghostbusters for sure. But Derek, I think you're the swing vote here. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think I'm going to stick with Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim.
No, that's okay. You make a good point though. Like the other covers of that song come across really kind of nice and beautiful. It's not, there's no Halloween in there,
That's
right?
true.
So it is
That's true.
specifically his performance.
Right. And with Ghostbusters, you get a intentional Huey Lewis in the News reference
Yeah.
because he
Yes.
was
Yeah.
effectively sued and ended up paying a decent amount of money to Huey Lewis for ripping off I Want to Do Drugs. So we're going into round 2. It's Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett and Psycho Killer from the Talking Heads. I'd like to go around the horn here. Jim, Monster Mash or Psycho Killer for you?
That's a tough one. Again, I got to break away from my playlist versus like what is a classic, right? Because
Yeah.
Monster Mash is always there, especially if it's a kids' party or something like that. I guess that's another piece too. I've had a lot of kids' playlists for many years right now, and I maybe I crave the adult playlist, but overall, Monster Mash is probably the one that is more classic Halloween.
All right. Derek, what about you, Monster Mash or
Yeah.
Talking Heads?
I agree. It has to be Monster Mash. I think there will be a lot of unhappy viewers of this video if we don't put forth Monster Mash. It just doesn't make sense. Like if you look ahead to what it's going up against, it will hold a.
I also think there's an argument to be made that it is the first Halloween song, right? It is,
Yeah.
and we get in
Yeah.
trouble for the primacy argument, but like it's genuinely very good at what it does. All right, so we're going to move Monster Mash into the final 2, and that gives us Michael Jackson's Thriller versus Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters. Derek, which one is it for you?
Okay, so this really bums me out because again, I am a huge fan of the Ghostbusters song. It just becomes another one of those victims of the cold assassin that is Thriller. So
The
I'm
Smooth
glad
Criminal.
The Smooth
is what I would
Criminal.
say?
Smooth
Yes.
Criminal. I'm glad it made it in the brackets this far. I wish it were going up against a different opponent that was maybe not such a J word, but it needs to be Thriller. It needs to be Thriller here.
Jim, do you agree?
I do agree. I mean, we'll give some love to Ghostbusters. It was nominated for an Academy Award, didn't win. It's estimated that the theme song itself had added 20 million to the film's box office gross.
That's amazing.
That's pretty impressive. Nothing to do with Halloween, but just still pretty impressive.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. It is like, speaking of the kids' playlist, it's a song that's always on it.
Always.
But I didn't vote for it originally because it's a tone killer to some
It's
extent.
true.
You know, like it is a jingle for the most part, and that's its purpose. But it is if it's on your playlist, if it's a Halloween song,
Mhm.
Thriller is the bigger one.
Yeah, for sure. I'll make it a clean sweep for Thriller, which gives us a final 2. Kind of obvious, maybe, but again, there's tons of great, scary songs at this point. The Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett versus Thriller from Michael Jackson. I would like to start with Jim. Where are you going here?
Thriller. We haven't even talked about it. It just moved its
No.
way all the
Yeah,
way
I know.
through.
Yeah.
It
It's-
pepperonied,
it's-
yeah.
I mean, it has a video to go along with it, right? So it's all there. It's literally right here.
Is it there you go. I would argue, is it a video or is it basically a short film? Because it really,
It is
It-
kind of a short film, yeah.
it redefines it, and that's not an exaggeration. Thriller
Mhm.
redefined what a music video could be.
Mhm.
Derek, I'm curious from you, Thriller or Monster Mash?
Yeah, I mean, I think that growing up, the Monster Mash is what we think about as the Halloween song archetype. It's catchy. Everyone knows it. It's seemingly been around for fucking ever.
Yep.
It's easy radio play. For
Yep.
me, though, it's because of that ubiquity. That's the reason why it knocks it down. It's fun, but I need something with more grit and more soul to it. And that will always be Thriller. Gen X and elder millennials will always have a place in their hearts for Thriller. I feel like this feels like Halloween for us, I guess is what I'm saying. It's cool, it's danceable, it's got a legendary music video, it's got Vincent fucking Price, who allegedly did not make any money from this. It's unimpeachable, so it's Thriller for me.
Yeah, and also you could make the argument that Monster Mash, to your point, Derek, was the Halloween song for the boomers and
Exactly.
into Gen X,
Yeah.
but now Thriller is that for millennials forward. Thriller does have that great scene in 13 Going on 30 where she gets out on the dance floor and brings all of the other like young adults from that age, and they all know the Thriller dance and they all do it spontaneously. It has, as we all did, we all knew it, like it was just what you did. But I do think that there is something to be said. Like Thriller, I didn't realize was not initially intended to be a single. It was an album only. It was actually the last single released from the album Thriller. And what I thought was really interesting, we call it a Halloween song. It was released in January. in the United States.
That's
It was
so
released in
weird. That's so weird.
January. Like, it was on the album before that, but like the single was not released until January, and it wasn't even a huge like it was a very popular song, but it wasn't number one on the charts in its initial release. But subsequently, actually, both of these songs subsequently have come back for chart dominance year after year after year in October into November, the same way Mariah Carey has done with Christmas music, right? Um, I think they're both really great options, but I think Thriller took what the camp and the novelty aspect that is Monster Mash, which it does very
Mhm.
successfully, and it actually made it cool and pop. And Thriller is still cool. 40 plus years later, Thriller is still cool, and that there's something to be said for that. So that's our answer, folks. The unanimous victor for the best Halloween song is Thriller by Michael Jackson. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button because we're going to have lots of new original YouTube videos coming up in the next few months. But also make sure you subscribe to our podcast for some great other Halloween episodes. We have Best Horror Movie Franchise, Best X-Files episode, Best Movie Monster, Best Pop Culture Witch. I know I'm forgetting some other things, but Best Halloween Candy. So you can check those out on this channel or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And make sure that you check out the playlist, which we will have all the songs we've discussed on here, as well as some other picks from our panelists. So thank you very much. Have a good one and enjoy your Halloween. Be spooky, be fun, be safe, and everyone is titled to their wrong opinion.